Qantas has posted an underlying loss before tax of nearly $1.3 billion in the half year as the airline struggled with Delta and Omicron. Joining me live now is our business reporter, Edward Boyd. Ed, this brings Qantas' total losses since the start of the pandemic to more than $6 billion.
Massive amount of money here, Laura, here in losses. The most latest loss wasn't as bad as what the market were expecting. They were expecting about 1.3 billion. It was 1.27 billion, so about 100 million odd under what was predicted. But look, the reality is Qantas had another tough 6 months. So the total flying capacity for the group was 18% of pre-COVID levels during that 6 month period to the end of December last year. They had 3 months of positive cash flow, but that all dried up at the end of December when the Omicron strain came through. A lot of flights started to get cancelled. People had to stay home and were in isolation. So if we can bring up the first page here, you can see their basic results. You can see revenue actually increased, and a lot of that was due to the international business doing particularly well, freighting products all over the world. Underlying loss increased from the previous one, which was about $1 billion, up to 1.28 billion. Passengers, that is the number of people they flew on their planes during the last 6 months of the year, 5.4 million. But if you look at pre-COVID, which was 2018 number, it was 28.5 million passengers. So massive decrease in passengers since their pre-COVID levels. There was a couple of good things though for Qantas. They reduced their net debt to $5.5 billion. The company's going to award its employees, they're all going to get 1,000 shares each, which are worth about $5 a share. So that's $5,000 for all 20,000 Qantas employees. And the executive team are going to forego their bonuses again this year. So our business editor of Sky News, Ross Greenwood, he's chatting to the Chief Executive of Qantas, Alan Joyce, today. The interview should be starting very shortly. We'll play the full interview later this afternoon on Business Now at 4:30.
Looking forward to that, Ed. Now, let's talk a bit more about that good news for Qantas. Life is getting back to normal. That means more people will be travelling domestically. What are their projections there?
Projections are looking pretty rosy, actually, for the second half of the year. Remember, we're already into the second half now. This financial year finishes on June 30. So Qantas are pretty positive about the next few months. They do believe Omicron's going to hit their earnings by about $650 million over this 6 month period. So probably about $100 million a month negative from Omicron. However, the domestic capacity is going to return to about 90 to 100% by the end of this financial year. We can bring them up on the screen and just show you their predictions. Look, international capacity's still got a while to come back, but the end of the first quarter, which is March 31, domestic capacity will be at 68% pre-COVID levels. They're then expecting domestic capacity by the end of June to be at 90 to 100% pre-COVID levels. International business is going to take more time, so they're expecting that 22% pre-COVID levels by the end of March and 44% by the end of June. So it's going to take a bit of time for Qantas' international business to come back. Their freight business, though, is still doing really well. And Aussies are now starting to travel domestically again, and Qantas have opened up a bunch of new routes around Australia to more regional areas as well to sort of capitalise on those Australians that want to travel around the country more. So it's looking like a better half this time for Qantas as well, Laura. I just want to say the stock market has just opened as well. We've obviously got all that tension and war really looming in Ukraine and Russia. Stock market's down 2% in early trade.
Okay, good one. Thanks, Ed. We'll check in again soon. Hopefully that improves. Appreciate it.